is a Bramble Jam podcast.
Oh,
Hello.
yeah.
Hello.
How are we, everybody? We doing well?
Decondescendant.
So great.
Decom Descendants. We're back, everybody. A lot of people said they're not going to come back, right?
That's what they
They're not going to
said.
come back this week, right?
But they are.
We're back.
It's Friday.
I
It's
don't wanna talk
Friday.
about it. This is a weekly show where we talk about Disney Channel original movies.
Which is different from our daily show in which we
Decom
talk
Daily.
about
Decom Daily Minute, which
we
I'm
talk-
not a part of.
Yeah.
That is a show that just you guys do.
But Aaron, you and I are Decom descendants, if you will.
Yeah. Do you want your Decom Daily Minute now?
Yeah,
or?
go ahead.
It's so weird that you guys are doing like explaining the show on episode 58.
No, occasionally you have to assume
It's
that
a
some
reset.
people...
It's a
Yes,
reset.
It's a reset.
Yeah, it's a reset. Of course. You just got further into it saying like you two are Decom descendants. That was the part.
Yeah, I'm gonna choose this as our Daily Minute for today.
It's
Hillary.
not the Daily Minute. This is Decom descendants.
No, we're
I
doing-
know.
Shh.
Okay.
It's a crossover.
Hillary Duff.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Friday's crossover.
Hillary Duff.
Friday's a crossover.
Yeah,
It's a both and.
yeah. It's you both in one feed. Hillary Duff yesterday got by some AI.
What do you mean
She
got?
posted about Pretty Women 2. She was very excited that Richard Gere and Julia Roberts were coming back together to film Pretty Women 2 for Netflix.
Pretty Women or Pretty Woman?
Pretty Woman
Okay.
2.
The second one is called
Pretty Women. That's why I didn't say anything because I was like, did they
actually
go
not-
that far to call it Pretty Women? Does he have like a harem now? Like what in the world?
So she posted, was very excited.
Good luck finding it on
She was
IMDb.
like, viewing party at my house.
Oh my god.
And then
Oh,
a few minutes
man.
later, she posted a selfie of her looking embarrassed. And she was like, oh, well, I got
She's getting old. It's all right,
Listen.
Hillary. It's
She
okay.
was
You
just
can do no
yeah,
wrong,
and I
Hillary.
get that. You see something and you're just immediately so excited.
Yeah.
And I've just like
It's happened to us
seen
all, at
so
least
many
We've all been there.
fake
Yeah.
movie posters at this
We've
point
all been
where
scammed online
if
twice.
I get real excited about an upcoming movie, my first thought is there's no way this is real.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the thing. Now-
Anytime you see any poster, you have to just triple check it.
Yeah.
It's like I have to like. There's like 3 movie like IGN and Deadline. I'm like, okay, if you guys said it, it's probably true. But
Probably true.
that's right.
It's probably true.
We got some new reviews. Brandon.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, we're up to 161 now.
Okay, how
We
many new ones we got?
2 new reviews.
You want to save one of them for next week?
I don't,
Oh my gosh.
but I will.
Okay.
That's
a good looking poster.
Yeah,
It's a good looking poster.
I'll save one for next week.
Oh,
Brand.
look at you.
This one is 5 stars from SAHM638291. Classic user on Apple Podcasts.
We're big fans. We're big fans of your work.
Right now for $20. What was it?
SHAN.
You missed it.
Okay.
You got SAHM
Okay.
638291. SAHM 638291.
It's more of a feeling.
So stay at home mom.
This says always stay
I
at
don't-
home mom 638291. So there's 638,000 of them.
It's
Oh,
a stay-at-home mom army.
always a good time.
Rise up.
I don't care what brand Dan and producer Aaron talk about. I will
Aw.
listen, like, subscribe, etc. because I know it will be a good time. P.S. I've never watched a DCOM in my life.
Wow.
Cry laughing face emoji. There you go. So 5 stars.
How about that? See, you
Look
can do
at
it.
that. We can do it.
You can do it at home. You can leave a review, and we're one step closer to watching a Lizzie McGuire movie. And I think that's
Amen.
That's all Brand cares about. We were listening to Lizzie McGuire on the way.
Hillary Duff.
Hillary Duff on the way home yesterday, unfortunately. And,
Amazing.
you know,
We did get a comment asking if we were going to do Princess Diaries at some point.
Princess Diaries.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, that's just a Disney theatrical release.
same as Lizzie McGuire movie.
Yeah, but the third one will be coming out soon, and
That's true.
it'll be current. Decom Daily Minute. It'll be
Decom Daily Minute. Decom Daily Minute's gonna get after that.
Yeah. It's not a decom, but whatever.
You know what we need to do? You know, I'm smelling
I
stuff.
mean, we don't have to.
We don't have to.
It's time for the delicious, where Erin brings something. She's embarrassed this
I'm
week
going
by
to
what
use
she's
my
brought.
skill.
All right,
That's
I
fine.
want to set this up. Today we are talking about the movie Life is Ruff.
That's right.
Yeah.
Dog movie. Kyle Massey.
Yeah. Kyle Mooney?
No.
Not Kyle
You
Mooney.
wish. You wish, Brand.
Can we make it happen?
Oh, he would be an amazing like decom dad.
Yes.
Kyle Mooney.
Unbelievable.
Kyle Mooney. Put
Kyle
out
Mooney,
a,
if you're listening.
Yeah, if you're a decom head like us.
Kyle Mooney put out a video last week talking about how he's releasing an album and that he's like, it's serious, it's not a joke, and then it's clearly a joke.
Yeah,
It's
so
very
clearly
funny.
a joke. Yeah.
It's so great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Kyle Moon Daily Minute.
Okay.
What do we have today for our delish?
Yeah. So I found this recipe for breadstick bones, and so they would be breadsticks in the shape of a dog bone.
Okay.
And I thought, fun. And
That is not what we have here in
no,
front
it
of
is
us.
not. So here's what had happened. So I went to the store and I needed to get 2 types of flour: all-purpose flour and bread flour.
Yeah.
And I said, there are 4 types of flour in my cabinet at home.
Yeah.
I didn't check, and I said, there definitely is bread flour in my cabinet.
Really?
Yeah.
Turns out no. It was self-rising flour, which I have used for bread, but different than bread flour.
Okay.
So the internet told me, girl, you're good. Just
Girl, you're
use
good.
just use the all-purpose.
Girl, you're good.
Self-rising.
Like, you know, like, don't worry about the self-rising.
Just
you
all-
can just use all
Yeah.
all
all-purpose.
purpose.
all purpose all the time.
Double all.
God is good.
You know, all the like the it told me, like, it broke down the science of the bread flour, but it's like all it's gonna do is just make your breadstick just a little softer. It's not gonna
Okay.
have like that like breadstick crunch. And I was like, that's fine.
Who cares?
We're just doing a
It's a
a
bit.
delish
Yeah.
on a bit for
You
a
got it.
podcast. Like, one bite, we're good. And I've
Everyone
just come
knows
to
the
the
rules.
conclusion that bread flour is really important.
Bread flour is really important.
So the flavor of these breadsticks is there, and I love it, and I
Great.
do want to try it again. The thing I'm most sad about is because I found for dipping a hot honey marinara,
Oh.
and I do love the hot honey
So, but
marinara.
what's wrong? So the only thing that's wrong here is that they're not shaped like a dog bone.
So yeah, they did not. They ended up just like looking like long sticks. They did not.
So how
Rise
so
enough.
did you rolled the dough and you put it into a shape and then upon cooking
And it just didn't
kind
like
of
rise enough. It just stayed like normally. You know, you roll it out into a shape, and then it would.
Yep.
Yeah, and it just didn't do that. It just stayed in the rolled out form.
Well,
And it
not
just looked
upset.
super weird. And so I cut them into bite-sized pieces so that they would look less weird for camera.
Hot honey marinara is a bridge too far, right?
No.
Like,
I mean that's what I
I'm
do on my
curious for your-
pizza anyway.
but it's
I-
separate.
Yeah. But now it's
It's
equal.
together.
I guess I'll do this.
Do it.
Let's
Go
see.
for it.
Curious about your opinion on the hot honey.
You want to talk while we're eating, Dan?
Yeah, man, absolutely. I mean, I will say when you said that this was a disaster,
Mhm.
it sounded like it was an actual. It just didn't turn out to be as themed as you wanted.
Which is a disaster for me.
That is, yes, it wasn't 100.
It's a it's like the flavor's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Sauce is wonderful.
Not a 10
It's
of
like
10.
it's like a denser
Mm-hmm.
and, and less fluff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'd go ahead and slide them over here.
Yeah,
Um,
Brand's a bread guy.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm
I'm
a bread
still gonna
I'm a
eat
bread
them.
boy. You know that about me, and so I'm totally fine with these.
There you go.
And like nowadays, like bones don't look as much like bones. Now they just
It's a
kind of
dog
look
treat.
Like,
Yeah,
it's a dog treat.
They're
yeah,
a dog
it's a
treat
dog
breadsticks.
It's a
treat.
dog treat.
Dog treat breadstick.
Yeah.
All right, let's do this. Let's take a break. Let's come back. We'll talk Life is Rough. Life is Rough. Here on
Like the dog, or
Decom
rough, like the
Descendants.
dog.
Decom
Decom
Descendants.
Descendants. Ruff, ruff. Ruff, 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 ruff.
We're back.
All right.
I think the thing that's going to be tough about him, you do got to chew it.
A lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, they look pretty dense.
Yep.
So it's not like a.
Yeah. Yeah. At least you're not hosting the show, you know? And here's the thing is this particular movie is packed with plot.
Yeah.
I mean,
Is it?
Well, it's jam.
I mean, it is.
It's jam packed.
adopts a dog to win a competition, falls in love with dog.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
Now it's time for
Decom
overtime.
Descendants.
This
I
is
didn't rank this
interesting. I got an email. Edward F. Cohn, CEO and seasoned criminal defense attorney with nearly 23 years of experience, would like to come on Yo
Nearly?
Gavel Gavel.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
What does he want to do on Yo Gavel Gavel? That's not the place for him.
They want to talk
It's
about
fake justice.
They want to talk about no, it's real justice.
real people, real cases, fake justice. Yeah. This is Yo Gavel Gavel. That's the tagline.
The evolution of constitutional law in today's politics. Emerging legal trends impacting. I don't think they've listened to the show.
I get the feeling they've not listened to the program, which makes me want to email them immediately to have them on. Send them a Kevin Ross and just see what happens.
Yeah. Let us know what you think about this. Okay, shall we dive into
Life is Rough?
Life is Rough. Yes, Life is Rough. Kyle Massey, at the time, rising Disney star, is on That's So Raven. You know, I'm not surprised that he got his own decom.
Big deal at that time.
Because I mean, like after this, he got his own show. So
That's
I mean,
cool.
The little brother is typically my least favorite character on a TV program.
What?
As an older sister, I know, so weird.
It's unbelievable.
Like I didn't like Lewis.
Shout out to JJ for being a terrible little brother.
No, he's the best little brother, and
that's why she hates all the little brothers on TV.
then-
You didn't like the main character of Even Stevens? Lewis is the main character. Rin's not the main
he just
character.
like all the hijinks and like my brother didn't do that. Like pull pranks on me and try to ruin my life, and so I'd watch this and it would just be stressful. So shout out to JJ for not doing that. Best little brother ever.
I'm starting to think that maybe, Aaron, you just don't like TV.
Yeah, that could be true. But hey, guys, as of this, when this comes out, we are 8 days away from JJ getting married.
Wow.
So,
shout out to JJ.
Shout out to JJ.
Brother of the week.
So
Who's going?
Jim. I'm going to go with Jim this week, believe it or not.
all right,
I'll go with Pat.
Pat?
Yeah.
All right.
Another week. Pat again. It's crazy. It's
This movie is
unbelievable.
directed by Charles Hayde. It's written by Eddie
Van Halen? Eddie Van Halen wrote this movie?
Guzelian.
Could you imagine?
Guzelian? There's no
What
way.
do you think? Guzelian?
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 Yeah.
Let's go with that.
Guzelian.
There's no way for me to know.
There's so many ways for you to know.
Well, there's not. Kyle Massey, Kay Panabaker, Mitchell Musso. Those are the big ones.
And others.
Others.
And others.
Are we ready to dive in?
Let's do
Yeah.
it.
There's a box of free puppies in front of a store.
And Aaron is immediately
I
sad.
know. And all of the dogs are being taken. But what's your best guess on what breed the puppies
That's a
in this box are?
Labrador Retriever.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay. So all of the dogs are being taken, and it starts raining, and so there's one little pupper left, and this pupper begins to try to tip the box over, does do so, runs off. Cut to 1 year later. And this puppy's no longer puppy, is now full
4-year-old dog.
Yeah. Yes, it's a very adult dog.
I don't know if you know this, dogs are puppies till they're 2.
Yeah.
So it's crazy that at 1, he would be a full-grown 4-year-old dog.
Full-grown,
But that's
good
what
deal.
happens here in Life is Rough.
That's exactly right. There's nothing we could do. Life is rough. Animal control sees this dog, chases it around, finally catches it. There's some hijinks. The dog ends up in a dress. It is what it is. We then meet 13-year-old Calvin Wheeler. Calvin
Wheeler.
I think
Which is, I think, how they chant his name every day.
Yeah. Calvin Wheeler they say he's popular.
He's the coolest kid in school,
I have been like,
per the synopsis.
I've been thinking about this since we watched
Yeah.
it.
the problem is we've seen other things, and we know Calvin isn't cool. Based on everything we know about Calvin, we know there's no way.
Big comic book guy.
Smart. You know,
But also,
He doesn't get great grades.
if it's like a high school, he's a freshman.
He's a freshman.
he's a freshman.
Yeah.
And he is someone that all the senior athletes look
They
up
love him.
to.
They love him. He collects
And I'm
comic
trying
books.
to figure out how he got that reputation.
Is
Yes.
it Gotham Man? Is
Gotham
that the-
Man.
Gotham Man.
He's a big
is it?
Gotham Man
Don't
fan.
you dare say Batman.
He has
Or Gotham City. It's
he-
Gotham Man.
And like another thing about him is he has a best friend who is
Not cool.
definitely not
So this
cool.
is the most popular guy in school, freshman in high school, loves comics, and his best friend is a nerd.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We call him Fig.
Which could be his name or not
it matters.
last name.
They say
nickname?
Raymond Fig is his
Okay,
name on
so-
Ray
IMDb,
Fig.
but they call him Fig throughout the movie. They're best friends and all that, and they share a love of Gotham Man. And all that Calvin really wants is to get he's missing 1 and 2 at the beginning of the movie
right.
of the Gotham Man. He gets 2. He gets 2.
He pulls off some hijinks.
That's
and
right.
is rewarded with 2.
as a
Yeah, he's trying to. I think it's like the first 15 or something.
Yeah,
Original Gotham Man.
that's
comics.
exactly
That's
right.
right. Still
And
needs that OG though.
All he needs is that first
Mhm.
edition of edition.
Real
whatever.
hard to find because there's only 8 known copies.
There's only 8, but
It's got to be worth millions.
one of those.
What if I told you
8,
no?
one of those 8 has made it to their local comic book establishment, and it is for sale for $3,000.
So much went into how much to make that comic book worth
Mhm.
because they were like, if we make it worth 500, no comic book but if we make it worth 100,000, no kid would be able to. They're in a tough
it's
spot
something
there.
where like
Nobody's
we have
happy.
to make it achievable for a teenager. I'm also like, I feel like Calvin should be mad at the comic store owner. You have a child who's probably your number 1 customer,
He's there all the
who's
time.
keeping you afloat in
He's
this
cool.
like. You know that this is the last comic he needs, and you don't call him. You don't like
Nothing.
offer to hold it for him. You put that bad boy right out on the display
up.
shelf.
It's all about profit.
And I'm like, in a small town, early 2000s, like we had TJ Collectibles in my hometown, and it was like the people who frequented it, like it was like a little community.
Yeah.
I will
Like
say
some
the
great
thing that-
people that worked there, and I just feel like
here's my thing though, is that I just, as someone that collected baseball cards extensively growing up, the local card shop in my very small town of 1,200 people, if there was a card that was wanted, he couldn't have called just one person because there's like, I was there all the time, but if there's one,
yeah, but I mean,
he's got 10 calls.
nobody
to make.
else in this town
Cares.
knows who Gotham Man
Well,
is.
I think that's the rub of my issue with the comic is if there's only 8 of these. If there was only 800, you could charge $3,000. If there was only 8,000, you could probably charge close to that. Like 1 of 8
Yeah.
is
That's
a
the
lot.
thing. They shot themselves in the foot by saying
1 of 8.
But yeah, they didn't have to tell us that.
They didn't have to tell us that.
And 3,000 would have been believable. But
Because
yeah,
it's not like
I
he's
just,
wanting it. He's not wanting it so that he can flip it one day. He just loves
He just
Gotham
wants
Man.
to-
he
collect
wants,
it. That's
yeah,
right.
he wants to be a true, fan of the comic and a true collector of it. Yeah, I don't know. I just think
Didn't do him a solid. Didn't
Yeah.
reach out.
every
know.
time we see the comic book store, there's no one in
Nobody's
there
in there.
except for Calvin and Fig. And I just think the owner could have done
Could have done better.
better.
Yes. Now, he's trying to like wrap his like, how could I possibly raise this amount of money? And he's skateboarding and he's having a good
He's
time.
a man of a hustle, so surely he will just create a little
He's
business.
like a
and
Zach Morris type.
Yes, a
Right?
Zach Morris
like he
type.
doesn't really play any of the
He's-
sports, but he's always in there. He knows everybody, and he's doing hijinks and pulling off
I think he's
stunts
a little
and-
bit more above board than Zach Morris.
Well, I think we all are, but it was a,
I don't think Calvin
decade
is-
later.
Morris is trash.
Yeah.
I don't think Calvin is tricking the women of the high school into posing in their bathing
Into
suits.
swimsuit. No,
yeah,
but
for a secret calendar.
he learned a lot in the 15 years after that was released. He's got a lot more wisdom.
Maybe
than
he
Zach
grew
had.
up watching
And he's
Saved by
like,
the
"I would
Bell
never do
reruns,
that."
and he was like, "I respect the hustle.
But I
I'm
also
changing-
respect the ladies.
That's
changing
exactly
the
right.
game."
That's exactly right.
And he said, "How about I get into comics?"
And Native Americans. I respect Native
yeah,
Americans.
I respect.
yeah, that's it goes without saying.
Yes.
I don't think we need to say it.
Yeah,
So, but he ends up finding out via a dog that like trample there's something happens where he's on his skateboard and what's his
going
fancy
by-
pants and the dog like knock him over or whatever, right?
Preston or
Preston,
something.
yes.
I don't know his name.
I like Preston. I
do.
think that's a good choice.
I do know that the dog's name is Jacques.
Jacques. Yes.
He is going by. We'll call him Preston until I can find his real
Yeah,
name.
I think it's Preston.
yeah.
And Preston is out there, like he's overseeing the installation of a fountain in his
Yes.
mansion front yard.
Yeah. It's Preston Price, by the way. Preston
Okay,
Price.
it is Preston.
Preston back on his BS. You know what I mean?
And he lets go of Jacques, and Jacques, obviously sees Calvin on the skateboard, runs after him, starts biting his ankles. Preston's like, "Oh my gosh, why would you attack my dog like this?"
This is a show dog, and he's in show. We're in show dog.
We're in shows
season.
in which we win.
We're in show dog season.
We're in
Show
show
dog
dog season. You know those show dogs where you can win up to $3,000.
Yeah, almost exactly.
I don't know if he says that line, but he knows there's money in it.
I'm pretty sure the AKC, like the Westminster, whatever, like that's way more than $3,000. But in this particular case, it just so happens.
Yes.
Well, it's like the local Royal Dog tournament. Like
Yes.
it's only open to people who have cars.
That's right.
in
Well,
the
That
town.
is a weird thing we'll talk about later. But yes.
So Calvin.
So Calvin says,
the
"How could
wheels
I
are
get
turning."
$3,000?
Yeah.
Could I mow lawns and do odd jobs around the neighborhood? No,
Nah.
I am going to get a show dog,
That's right.
and I'm going to
Yes.
enter this highbrow competition, and I'm going to win it all.
And
baby.
everyone knows if you want to get a show dog, you go to the animal shelter.
That's exactly where you go.
That's where you go.
Mhm.
And the other thing that I need to be very clear about that you've done a pretty good job articulating is this is
My
quite
fight song.
literally
No?
the worst way to get $3,000 that you could think of. Like trying to win a dog show with no dog is the worst possible avenue with your lowest chances. You could deal drugs before you would do this to try to get a dog for free, train them to do this to win it's just not even
Yeah, and I also
remotely-
have questions about the first hijinks that he pulls in this movie. The high school basketball team.
Yeah, he gets a playbook.
The opposing team has stolen their playbook,
Mm-hmm.
so they're going to be unmatched at the game because they know all our plays. We don't know their plays, and Calvin's like, "Don't you worry, I'll get the playbook for you." And then we see a bunch of hijinks, and I'm not sure how any of those hijinks relate to getting the playbook, but don't worry, he does get the playbook.
Yeah.
And the basketball team pays him with Gotham Man #2. And I just want to know how much that one was.
Yeah.
Like,
But it's
Was
just
You
Gotham
would think
Man
it would be
number-
close, right? You think it would be close.
Calvin seems to have the ability to get things and to help people, and it just seems like dog and competition is the worst way.
It's a weird premise for a movie to be like, we need this guy to get a dog. How should we do it? Dog show.
Dog show,
and it's
$3,000
just-
comic book.
I
Yeah.
feel like there could have been any other reason for him entering the dog show than I
Yes.
need $3,000. Like,
Correct.
even if he had a dog, I mean, I don't know. There's just
Something.
where it's just a weird. I've been able to get the other comics pretty easily. The only way to get this one is to train a dog from scratch, basically.
Listen, man, life is rough.
Well, I mean, you got it.
That's
Yeah.
sometimes
So
you-
anyway, here we are.
So
we have to get a dog.
He goes to the local dog shelter and he is talking to Emily, who
Mm-hmm.
is a classmate of his who volunteers at the animal shelter.
And by volunteers, she runs the animal shelter.
She runs it. There's no adults, but
There is one adult who shows up sometimes.
yes. Now she's very at first like you're up to something. Like is not sure because he's always doing schemes.
Yeah.
He's always up to something.
She
and
thinks
so-
he's really selfish. Like, there's no reason you would get this dog.
Yes, and she's like, you have to go and get your parents' signature on this thing. So he goes to his parents.
There's a fake signature
yes,
boy.
like, well,
Yeah.
it does hey, here's one thing from school. You need to sign both of them, and one of those pieces of paper is.
I have not adopted a dog personally, but can you, as a minor, show up with
No.
a piece of paper?
No.
Like, doesn't an adult need to be
I
there?
mean, there are some very disreputable like dog shelters in quotes, but if you went to the Humane Society or somewhere like that, there's so much that goes into adopting a dog that is not covered in this particular film.
I mean, I guess the Greenville Humane Society is not being run by 13-year-old girls. So maybe there is some disconnect there where she was just like, yeah, signature is all I need.
That's right.
I adopted a dog in 2003 and I was 20 and the paperwork was extensive and I was in a PetSmart parking lot.
See,
there-
I
I
should have
needed
tried
an
to adopt
ID.
a dog at the same event because I was 13 and
Yeah,
we could have
you
seen.
could have easily.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
No
You could have
problem.
seen-
If
you
only
maybe-
we'd known each other.
You would have strolled up and just been like, "I'll take a puppy, please," and they would just
And
give
they
you
would have
one.
handed me a puppy,
That's right.
and I would have held the puppy, and I would have looked at you and been like,
Whereas-
"Ha, bozo."
That's right. So you, 20-year-old man.
Look at you and your
that's right.
paperwork.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he does bring back the signature.
He does
is-
a whole switch him up with his mom. where
Yes, and she says, "Here's the dog we have for you," and it is Tycho.
Yeah.
And
There's every cage in this shelter is full, but the only dog you can get.
full of dogs that look like show dogs.
Yeah,
This,
the only dog available for you is this 100-something pound
Yes.
giant dog named
So
Tycho.
he takes Tycho home, and without his parents knowing that he has a dog, is trying to keep this dog under wraps. Things then begin to go awry.
That's a different movie.
Under wraps. Sorry, different movie.
The dog came back from the dead. He's a mummy dog.
He's a mummy dog. It's awesome.
Mummy dog. I can't wait for that decom.
This
Mummy
dog.
dog.
This dog begins to destroy the house while he is at school. He is trying so hard to cover up the fact that he has a dog. He literally covers up the dog with
Yeah,
a
I
blanket.
feel like the middle third of this movie is him somehow successfully hiding the dog from his parents against all odds and logic.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where it's like we've seen some pretty bad decom parents in the fact that they're negligent parents. And these are bad parents not because they don't care about their son. They do love
'cause
Calvin.
they're
They're
stupid.
just dumb.
Yeah.
Like they get back, the house is destroyed. There is a
Their son is
moving
their son's sitting by a blanket that is moving.
and he's like, "Don't look under the blanket." And I like feel like I was laughing too hard to hear the dialogue in the scene. Does he try to tell them that the blanket is fig? It's like, does he say a person's under
I
there?
don't know. I was in the same boat. I was too confused.
I feel like he tries to tell him it's just fig, and then like the dad gets closer, and Calvin's just like, "Don't look." Don't look under this blanket. And as I'm not a parent, but
No.
even I was like,
If you're
I'm looking under
if
the
your
blanket.
100%.
if your 13-year-old son says don't look under the blanket, you better freaking
You
look
better
under the
freaking look
blanket.
under
I
the
mean, your
blanket.
13-year-old son who, like, yes, does pull hijinks, but has never once trashed the house
Yeah.
and, like, thrown all the food on the floor, which broken eggs in this economy, Calvin, you're
Listen,
arrested.
throwing gold out the window.
Listen,
Call it
I-
non-liquid gold.
I
is what call it.
I know puberty's crazy, but this is
So you can walk in, you see this mess, you look at your son, he's holding a lumpy blanket that's moving, and he's like, "Don't look under here."
don't look under here.
I'm for sure looking at like,
There's my
like
son.
Calvin, buddy, we gotta
I
have
mean,
a talk.
maybe you really had it with Calvin. You're like, if I don't know, it's like plausible deniability. It's like, I'm definitely not looking under the blanket. I'm just gonna give him a pass. I'm gonna let him use his skip here. Sometimes I know if I go outside and my kids are gonna get in trouble. You know what I mean? Like, it's like,
That's right.
you just let them do their thing.
Man,
But you look under the blanket.
You got to look
I
under the
kind
blanket.
of want to have kids just so someday I can have a conversation with them. I'm like, you guys get one skip.
Oh, well,
one skip.
especially after you see the
totally
house.
skips.
After seeing the house, you definitely look under the blanket, right? After
Yeah.
seeing the
Yeah.
house,
Seeing
you
the
gotta.
house. Oh, they also like when Calvin sleeps at night the next morning, like they're like, "You are snoring so loud."
Yeah.
Like he does a great job. It's like days of hiding
days.
this giant dog in the
and
house.
he's finally like getting fed up with this dog. One, this dog's making a mess. Two, this dog doesn't do tricks.
This dog's doing just dog stuff.
This dog's doing dog stuff.
Yeah.
So he
I
decides,
thought
you know
all
what?
dogs just came ready for dog show.
Yes. He's like, you know what? After school, I am taking you back to the shelter. He ties him up to this tree. He walks
backyard.
outside of his gate.
Shuts the giant
Shuts
gate.
the giant gate. It's a huge gate. They don't park back there. Don't ask.
Nope.
And these two people are there, and they're like, "Hey, we're here to beat you up.
Hey,
we
we like you, and we wish we,
we
didn't
think-
have
yes.
to do this.
But someone paid us to beat
They
you
paid
up.
us
There's
money.
nothing. Our hands are tied.
Is it Prentice? We don't know.
We are bully hunter. We're bounty hunters, but we don't.
Bully.
We just are here to
we're
beat
bounty
you up.
bullies.
Yes,
or
that's
bounty
right.
bullies."
Bounty bullies.
And so
They had matching jackets. Bounty bully.
Bounty bullies.
Tycho is trying to get free, obviously,
Tycho
but also
hears that Calvin is in trouble.
here's the bullying.
He
Breaks,
is trained for bullying.
Pulls
Roots a tree.
pulls a tree down, goes
Yeah, like uproots the whole
Yeah.
tree.
Goes full Hulk.
jumps through a part of the gate
Doesn't
that
break the leash.
No, that
I'm
leash
not
is
sure
good. Leash
where-
stays
Also,
intact.
gate, from what I can tell, gate not latched.
No.
It is
No.
just a quick close.
Yeah.
So when Tycho hits the gate, does it open? No, straight
Yeah,
through
he's
the
through
gate.
it.
flies. Yeah, he's Beast from Sandlot.
Yeah.
He's like this dog
He
is
is.
like mythical.
And almost kills the people. That-
Runs,
Yeah.
runs them over.
runs
with
them
uprooted
over
tree.
with tree.
With
Root.
tree.
If this was like Final Destination, Root going straight through their head.
Root going through.
And
This
if
boy,
the
can you
maker
imagine?
of that leash wants to sponsor us, we're big fans.
We're
Oh
big
my
fans.
that
gosh.
leash was indestructible.
Yeah, that leash is superhuman.
So he now realizes that he has a good boy. He has a good boy,
boy.
and he saved my life. And so the least I can do is begin to feed him
Yeah.
dog food.
Yeah, and do the parents wonder about the missing tree or the broken gate? No, because by the time they come home from work, gate is fixed.
This is a couple that doesn't want to park their car in their driveway,
Right.
but does also not notice an entire tree.
Mm-hmm.
Not a little tree. This tree has been around for decades, gone from their home. Doesn't notice it. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. They don't notice anything. The most oblivious people of all time. Door is also fixed, which is very impressive. It looked pretty heavy. Door is also fixed.
Also fixed.
Yeah,
So
and he's out there what looks to be staining
Yeah, he
the
was
gate, but
staining
it's just it's a dry paintbrush. that
He got a
he's-
new one and he's already staining it. Dude, we had a guy in our neighborhood, which was not a gated community growing up, who owned classic cars, and he had a driveway and a gate like that. And
did he have triples?
He refused to
Triples
park
best.
any of them in the driveway because he didn't want oil to drip on the. So it was a pristine driveway, and his cars are like either in one garage or on the street. And it was like, what are you doing, man? Like, why did you spend so long on this driveway if you're not going to use it? But to each his own. If you
So
care,
it
you
could
care.
look nice.
I
Dan.
guess.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Whatever, man.
So he begins to care for Tycho, and I think he like tries to train him, but it's not going well. But you're
Yeah.
out of time. The
Yeah,
dog,
he
it's time for
does
dog
give-
show.
He does
Yeah.
give. Is this where he gives Tycho a bath?
I'm sure.
Or is
he
that later?
does.
Yeah, they give Tycho a bath. At
They
some
give
point.
Tycho a bath at some point. The parents come home early,
Yes.
and so he hides himself and Fig and Tycho in the hot tub.
That's right.
And the parents come home, and the boys are just soaking wet,
All you can see is eyes.
fully clothed in the hot tub.
And I want to be clear, even if you don't look under blanket, you do look in hot tub. They already used their skip. If you don't look under blanket and you're like, I'm going to give him a pass, he's going through a lot.
If
you
I just
see
got-
just beady eyes over
They
the
just
top.
go- Well, and at one point they raise up a little, and you can see that both boys are fully clothed. And again, you're walking
You
over.
will
to
go look in a hot tub.
You gotta look. You gotta look.
You got
They're
to.
just like, I gotta put the groceries away. You guys,
Yeah,
keep
I don't
boys
have
will be
time to
boys.
parents.
Keep doing that.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. It's time for round
Dog
one
show.
of Dog Show.
Mhm.
One that apparently you have to get in via a vehicle. Everybody's being dropped off.
At the
all
red
the
carpet.
dogs and their owners are being.
Yeah, no one's just walking right in.
No one's walking in. And so Calvin sees this and decides, well, we need a car. What are we going to
Mhm.
do? So Fig distracts a driver long enough for Calvin and Tycho to crawl through
Yeah,
the back
stretch
row
navigator. Yeah.
so
Which,
that they
again,
can be
I-
seen walking out of a car.
Yeah, you got to have a car.
You got to have a car.
I don't care if you're talking to me out my front window. I'm going to notice.
Yes.
I would hope
Yes.
so. I'd
And
hope
it's
so.
Shiny. Again, Tycho's not a small dog.
No, he's big boy. He's big
Yes.
boy. I also
Now Emily from the shelter is there, and she's
Protesting dog
protesting
shows.
the dog show
because they're
And
only
so,
full bred dogs.
Luckily, his dog's giant, so he can crawl behind his dog so that she
He and
doesn't
Fig
see
get
it.
down on the ground.
The
and
more
crawl
we're
in.
talking about this movie, the more angry it makes me. I got to be honest. It keeps every time I've gone back to my ranking 3 times to drop it lower because I just keep going. The hijinks don't even make any sense.
Yeah. Well, here's one that does. Calvin
No, I don't think so.
and Tycho are
think
there.
you're
It's
lying.
time for round one, which everyone knows is the race. And there is a race where obstacles are involved. Okay. So Tycho is going to race against Preston and Jacques. And
So
Jacques gets off to a strong start.
because
It
he's
is-
trained.
He's trained.
Yeah.
He's doing the
Little
obstacles
terrier.
as he should.
A
And this
terrier
is a
going up
dog show
against
where
a
you
big
can
boy. Yeah.
register minute of.
Oh yeah, they do have to do this thing where
There's
they
no registration fee either.
Yeah.
Well, that's silly.
they have to
He
like
does need to call the basketball team in because the
Yes.
head basketball
to get them
guy,
clean.
his mom is a hairdresser, so they
Yes.
come in and clean up.
So
Tycho.
they are now on Team Calvin.
Team Calvin.
of course.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Anyway,
I mean, they were to begin with. He's the most popular boy in school.
Duh.
This is also a dog show where dogs stay on leash. So Calvin's holding on to Tycho with the leash, and Tycho begins to go through the course and is destroying everything.
Yeah, he's not doing any
He's
of
not
the things.
doing anything, which scares Jock. So Preston begins to hold Jock, and ultimately, somehow,
This is absurd.
Tycho makes it around the course first.
First.
He crosses the finish line first, but surely there's going to be
Penalties.
some
Yeah,
penalties.
they have to wait while they tally up all the penalties.
Yes, and the penalties add all of, I think,
30 seconds.
30 seconds.
And it still breaks a record. And that begs the question, why isn't every dog owner now doing this?
Yeah,
Right?
right.
If he can win
by
by
not
just
doing anything.
dismantling the
But
course and
it's
not doing
just-
any of the tricks, that's what you should do every time.
It's just impossible that it's a course record because
That's right.
Jacques was like halfway through the
Correct.
course before Tycho
And
started.
he was doing the tricks.
and he was doing the thing.
That's right.
It doesn't matter.
Oh, it certainly doesn't.
He gets first place. And so obviously he gets to come back to the finals, which Jacques also makes it to the finals because he won last year.
Yeah, so this was just like a fun practice round for him.
yeah.
He was
Preliminary.
already a
Yeah,
guaranteed
he was
spot in
in.
the final. And I just like,
Two-time champion.
yeah, been thinking about this. You guys have another podcast called Deck the Hallmark.
What?
In which you watch Hallmark movies and Lifetime movies and just made for TV rom-coms.
Yes.
Um,
Thank you.
And it is a big deal on that podcast when like they never know what to do with a lead's profession. Like when they're podcasters, like they don't plug any mics in, you know, when
Yeah.
they're photographers or artists, like it's just very basic art. And I feel like Disney Channel maybe started that trend because this I think was before Hallmark movies became a phenomenon. Of just being like, we're gonna pick a profession out of a hat and do no research.
Yeah. That's what they've
into
done
how
here.
it's done. And they're just like show dogs.
Yeah, we got
We
it.
know how that works. And no, that dog would be disqualified.
For numerous, it wouldn't have gotten in the door. It's not a full bred dog. Like
Like-
at that point, there was no rescue dog show, which there is now, but that dog wouldn't have qualified as a breed. The puppy is probably a full bred dog. That puppy, that full grown dog is not. That full grown dog is a mutt.
Yeah, and yeah, before he can register, and she's like, "Well, the judge needs to do, look over your dog." At that point, Tycho would not have been
So you-
allowed. It's also weird that a last minute registrant goes up against the defending champion. I don't
In
know.
a race?
In a race.
Which, like, wouldn't you match dogs by breed
or
by
size?
weight? Yeah, by size. Like,
Also,
And
there's,
I want to be
there's
clear
not,
about all this. It's all nonsense. Would watch in real life, though. If the real life dog show is
I would
draw
watch-
2 dogs out of a hat for race,
Yeah, there's
And
not.
damage?
and all rules are off the table.
yeah, a no holds barred cage match. Not dog.
dub.
We're not
EC
dog fighting.
dub.
It's racing and it's tricks. We're not here to. Nobody's dying, but
Dog-
would watch.
There's
watch
no way
the-
there's dog racing and dog shows, right?
No,
They're not
the
racing
Westminster
dogs.
AKC hodgepodge beluga. Like I'm watching that though.
There's agility, but that's different. They're not racing against each other.
Right.
It's just
There's
like
not a
how
head-to-head.
how fast can you get through a course?
Yeah, that's dog racing.
No.
That's
Which
down
I
at the
will say,
tracks, which you can
dogs
get.
are
I
just-
do
yeah.
love watching agility because the dogs move through a course at a pace that my brain can't even
Yeah, they're going. They're going.
When they have to like do like the
Zigzag.
slalom.
It's like they're breaking the sound barrier.
Yeah, it is. Tycho though breaks it. That's
He
what
breaks
Ty-
it. He just runs straight through it.
not
like-
the sound barrier.
no.
He just breaks it.
And
breaks
once
it.
again, that is the best strategy for this race is
Yeah.
to not do it. What
Plus
if we don't
two.
do it?
Yeah, again,
plus 2
as,
seconds.
As
What if
a
we don't do
follow-up
it?
competitor, like if I'm supposed to go next and I'm watching this
Yeah.
race happen, I'm like, oh, so I didn't need to spend
Yeah.
hours of my life training my dog to do the slalom. Like
Yeah.
he can just run from here
I
to the
see
finish
that,
line.
and I'm putting Dashy back, and I'm getting Graham, and I'm just like, go! And he's just like, bang, bang, hey!
Get after
Just
it.
going through
Get
everything.
See, Graham could probably do it in the sense that he would follow you pretty well.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you could run through the course and and Graham Velcro dog that he is,
would just
would
destroy
fall.
it. Yes.
But he would stick the course, and he would probably get less deductions than Tycho.
Yeah. Just got to destroy everything. That's the key. That gets him to the finals.
Yeah.
Yes. Before we get to the
I
finals,
do want to live in a world where I enter Graham into a deduction.
before we get to the finals, a couple of things really quickly. Calvin begins to shoot his shot with Emily.
Oh, yeah.
And Emily comes over
Forgot about this
and
plot.
they have pizza and everything's going good. He asks her to dance, but
Awesome.
unfortunately, after they play video games, it goes straight to the news. And what is on the news? But Calvin and Tycho.
At
She's
the
like,
dog
how
show.
dare
How
you?
dare you? I knew you were up to something. This whole thing, you know how I feel about that. But then there is a sign that appears. These flyers show up. That's like, dog. Do you
Missing dog.
have my dog? And it is Tycho. And so Calvin's like, I can't do this. I can't Calvin's like, I can't.
I got to return this dog to the
I
owner.
need-
I
need-
this dog belongs to somebody else.
Yes. So it's a whole thing. They bring the dog back. These people seem sketch.
Tycho hates them.
Tycho hates him. Clearly isn't comfortable.
And is it raining when Tycho drops him off? I feel like it was raining. I feel like there's a scene where he puts his hood on and he walks away sad in the rain.
That sounds right. Somehow they get Emily in on this, and Emily is able to like look on the records.
Because she had been mad at him, and so I think
Yes.
Fig is trying to do his boy a solid.
Yo,
and
my
he-
God.
Boy,
And,
he's solid.
and he goes to Emily and he's like, "Hey, you think Calvin's really
Oh,
selfish?
he's not
But
selfish.
look at this flyer we found."
Also, here's a story for you. When I was a kid,
When I was a young boy.
I
When I
have
was
asthma.
a young boy,
My father.
Took me into the city, and I had an asthma attack.
and he didn't bring my inhaler.
And all of the kids made fun of me for having asthma.
But not Calvin. You know what
Not
he
Calvin.
did? He remembered the janitor has asthma, so
Yeah,
he
that's
went
right.
and
He's
grabbed.
like, got you.
He went and grabbed Mr.
I got
Johnson's
you.
That's
inhaler.
exactly right.
Mr. Johnson,
What
of
Calvin
course.
doesn't know is that Mr. Johnson also had an asthma attack that day. He died, but I did
But
not.
he saved me.
He saved me. He did me a solid.
And when you saw one set of
when you saw one inhaler,
That's
it
what
was
Calvin
Mr.
carried.
Johnson who died of an asthma
Yeah,
attack.
exactly right. He never got his inhaler back.
Are we
That's
writing
tough.
a better life is Rough?
Yeah.
Anyway, so
anyway.
now it
And
was
she,
like,
she
oh,
he's, then the flyer. You think Calvin's so selfish, but he saw this flyer and knew that Tycho wasn't his. He returned Tycho.
yes.
And Emily's like,
this is
"That's
ridiculous.
my photo."
Yeah, this is
a minute.
ridiculous. I know for a fact that they, this whole that
Yeah,
basically
I
that he
took
didn't
that
have.
photo of
They
Tycho.
match it up where the timeline doesn't work for this to have been the real family.
Yes, that's exactly.
So
right.
once again, your boy Preston is out there paying people to commit crimes.
Dude,
He's just out here. He's got a sweater
But
vest on
listen,
and he's paying people to commit crimes.
Preston has a passion, and Preston's good at one thing, which is dog
That's right.
shows.
It's a product of the system.
He's a product. The dog show system will spit you out.
It will.
Yeah. We forgot to mention the basketball game in the very beginning of the movie where Calvin is trying to get the opposing team's playbook.
Uh-huh.
Before games, sometimes there's like, it's like a crowd warm
Entertainment.
up. Yeah, there's something going on to keep the crowd while they're waiting for the team to come out. This high school chose to have Preston bring out Jacques
And do tricks.
and do some tricks on the court.
It didn't go well.
And nobody cares.
Nobody claps. It's real bad.
And Preston thinks that he is single-handedly helping
clap.
the team.
Preston,
So Preston just thinks he's so cool. He's not, but yeah. So he hires the bounty bullies, and he hires this family.
Preston grew up to be
um,
Jeb Bush.
Fun fact.
Fun fact.
So yeah,
Yes.
Preston.
He has some problems for sure. So yes, he hired these people. So they come up with a plan.
He also has no
Basically-
parents. He just has unlimited wealth and no parents.
Dude, he's a fascinating person. So Fig goes and acts like he's selling
Yeah,
magazines.
they do another hijink
They
to
know
get
how
the
to-
More
dog.
hijinks.
That's right.
Yes.
While Emily and Calvin break in,
Yep.
grab Tycho, Fig fakes an asthma attack
Well, the couple is losing interest.
in the
And
magazines.
Calvin and Emily could have been into the basement.
Oh, they couldn't have taken longer
but
if they tried.
stand there in the kitchen, which is, opposite the front door, mouth like talking to Fig. The couple has no clue what's happening.
They were watching
And,
him do a bit.
and I'm like, you could have gotten the dog and gotten out in the time that
But
it took
sometimes
you.
you just gotta
That
watch your
is
buddy and
this
Also-
movie in a nutshell. Like, it's just, we could have done this a lot quicker than we
and
did
I do want to commend Preston here
Shout
for he clearly the bounty bullies reported back and said, "Hey, we tried to beat up Calvin, but his dog
That's right.
uprooted a tree and broke through a
So
gate."
he's like, I got to pay somebody to commit a bigger crime.
So then Preston said, "I'm going to pay this family to pretend to be Tycho's family, and I'm going to install shatterproof glass in the basement."
Yeah.
Because Tycho is just sitting at a window
Yeah.
in the basement, and homeboy who uprooted a
Can't
grown
do it.
tree and
He
broke
knows.
through a
Glass is gonna cut his
solid
skin.
wood
He knows.
gate.
Right.
Glass
He no
is
fool.
you can't.
How
you,
much money you think he paid them to take Tycho?
$100.
Like,
I have no idea.
I mean, he could have, Preston probably could have saved himself money and gone, I'll buy the comic for you.
Yes.
Yes.
I'll buy the comic. You need a comic book and you'll stop bothering me with your dog? I'll buy the comic book.
Literally,
That's what I'll do.
if Calvin had yes, that's an amazing point.
Yeah, because Preston, but that's the problem. Preston never opens up the line of communication.
Life
He
is
never
rough.
goes up.
He
like,
doesn't.
Why are
to
you
Calvin
doing
and
What
this?
are you
says,
doing?
Why are you
doing this to me?
Why? Like, you know, I have one thing.
Don't-
And that's
Yeah.
the lesson we all learned is just when someone's bothering
Maybe
you,
go talk to
just
him.
go talk to him. Because
Yeah.
maybe it could be solved with a comic
Could have
book.
saved this movie for us.
Let's wrap. Can we wrap?
Yeah.
Like, why are you
rap
so
sesh.
It's a rap
interested in
sesh.
this?
Flip your chair around.
I mean, he
Uncle
probably
Jesse style.
paid the bullies anywhere between 50 to 100. The family, I would say, probably around 1,000 to 2,000. So yeah, it would have been less trouble to just maybe a little bit more money, but less trouble to just buy the comic.
100%. 100%. Okay, so
So Preston, if you're listening,
they get Tycho and off they go. They're running late for the dog show.
Yeah, but Emily's on board because now she's invested in beating Preston.
That's exactly right. So now, like, dog shows.
And that just goes to show that everyone has morals to a point.
That's right.
exactly right.
There's a limit. Like, we're all living in a capitalist system. There's nothing we can do about
So
it. You know?
this
Go to the dog show.
final round is a freestyle event. Bum, 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 bum.
It's
As
a
opposed-
freestyle
look,
event, which
if you
is
had
still a routine. Like
one
it's
show
Ba-na-ba-na-bum.
Yeah.
to show your dog
That's
could
exactly
win
right.
3K.
Would you do it?
When you do the tricks,
Um,
just run hellfire through it.
Preston, Jacques, they do their routine.
Yep.
A 98. Pretty
Beautiful.
darn good. Good luck.
98 out of 100. Whew.
Calvin and Tycho show up, and
They
Calvin.
burst through the curtain to flames.
We
To
could
flames.
listen. That we could go into pretty great detail about how ridiculous this is, but I think the movie continues on its streak of being. He's going to get a 99. What he does during this
Spoilers.
show is not a 99.
So
It's not a 19.
but he's pretty smart because he knows Tycho doesn't have the moves, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
but I do on my skateboard.
Yeah.
So he has Tycho pull him around on his skateboard while
So
he's
he
doing
does the
tricks,
routine.
grinding rails, doing flips,
Mm-hmm.
walking on water. Well, he rides on top of the water. He just Jesus board it. And then Preston is seeing all of this happen and he decides, I'm going to go in underneath the final ramp and tinker with it so that it collapses, which
the way
it
the way
does
Preston does
on
this-
him, and I think he dies.
Is
Preston,
Preston still with us?
Preston like knocks out the support beams on this ramp and then stands there laughing about his trick. And it's like, dude, move.
We never see him move. I think he's dead.
And so then, Calvin hits the ramp. He's airborne. When he gets to the top of the ramp, it collapses. He goes in a great stunt scene where he's clearly on a wire because he stops like the arc of falling, and at one point he's just like
Lateral thinking.
He's clearly like on a wire.
yeah, and
Yeah.
he just
It's
because he at first it's like a fall.
and we say he is, we mean his stunt double.
His
Is
stunt-
clearly on a wire.
Double his age
Tycho
at least.
catches the skateboard, and in my mind, I was like, he's gonna meet Calvin.
I know.
Calvin's gonna
Thought he was
land
gonna
on
save
the
him.
board. It's gonna be so impressive. And no, that
Nah.
No, he Jeff
No.
Hardy. He Jeff Hardy's right into a table.
Yeah, he
the
does.
judges table.
The judge's table
And they
collapsed.
freaking love it.
They love it. They give him a 99,
99, baby.
and he wins.
Life is rough.
So what will he do with this money?
And now he can complete his Gotham Man collection, and we're all better for it.
Right?
He does not
No,
he doesn't.
complete his Gotham collection. Instead, he saves the animal shelter.
Yeah, he does.
And
Thank goodness. He
they-
renames the animal shelter
For 3K.
after Is it the creator? I think it's the
I think
creator
so.
of Gotham Man.
And they do Gotham Man paintings on the
At
wall,
the
they do
animal
superhero
shelter.
paintings. They have an
which
adoption.
my kids would love.
They
If
have
there was
an
like
adoption
Spider-Man
event.
on the walls at the animal
You'd be-
shelter,
yeah.
you kidding me?
You'd have more dogs.
Yeah,
we'd have more
that's
dogs.
tough. They shouldn't be allowed to do that.
That's exactly right. And then that's
Just put a little like printout from the computer on a cage that says Spider-Man wants you to have this dog.
Yikes, a bikes.
And
That's
I'm-
a problem.
and I'm
Miles
fairly
Morales loves this puppy.
and I'm fairly certain
Greenville Humane Society, if you're listening.
Parents will not sleep.
free ideas. And I'm fairly certain the movie ends with them going to compete in another animal show, another dog show.
Animal show. It's
Animal
a different
show.
thing.
Yeah, that's right.
Honestly, I had a good time watching this movie, but I couldn't tell you what it is.
No.
Yeah.
There you go. That should tell you what you need
all
to know.
right, let's do this. Let's take a break. Let's
we?
come back. We will share our thoughts on it.
We have to come back?
We'll
gotta come
make
back,
our
yeah.
lists. It's all on the
That's
other
new.
side here. Here on
Decom
Descendants.
Thanks, Aaron.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome. It's Decom Descendants. We're talking about Life is Rough. I have some letterbox reviews if you want it.
Would love that.
Marissa.
How many?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
All right.
I'm excited.
Marissa says, my only complaint is why wasn't this film titled Cory in the Doghouse?
Oh.
Am I
Could have been
right?
good.
Maddie, 2 stars. I can't tell if this movie was pro or anti dog shows. More than fair. This movie can't figure out what their thoughts are or their stance is on dog shows. Lily says 0.5 star. Mostly extremely boring, but the soundtrack is full of insane, wacky dog type songs that rock. So I don't know. Maybe check those out.
Dog type?
ASDF Batman says 3 stars. You know what? Sometimes you just need a movie about a skateboarding dog. Matt says 2 stars. Preston undoubtedly deserves the titles. That's effing highway robbery.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Kevin says 5 stars. This was dumb, but there were dogs. 5 stars.
5 stars.
What are our thoughts on it? I'll start with you, Aaron. Both you and I don't recall this movie.
Yeah.
Snuck in under the radar, I guess. What are your thoughts on Life is Rough?
It's tricky because the movie is bonkers. It makes no sense. But it is funny and Kyle Massey does a great job. Like he does really good on camera. He knows what his role is here. You know, he is a goofy decom lead. And I just think he does it really well. He's here for some hijinks. You know, there's a scene early on when he has Tycho where he's just being pulled around on a skateboard and he's just here to like be run through the mud and to, you know, be pulled into a lake and, you know, just all these hijinks. He's here for it. There is, I don't buy that he's the most popular kid in school.
What?
I do buy that he has a reputation for pulling off hijinks. He was kind of like that on That So Raven, where he does a lot of hijinks, but he has this like cute, bubbly personality where you're like, yeah, I'm kind of mad at you. You know, or I feel like he's the younger sibling and he just gets away with a lot. And he kind of has like, he's an only child here. And I believe it would have been more believable to me if he was like a younger child because they're the baby and who's going to be mad at them. But I think Kyle's a great like Disney lead. I had a lot of fun watching this movie. It is bonkers. It is wild. There's no rhyme or reason or any logic. But yeah, I had a good time.
Obviously, this movie is going to be compared to Hounded.
Yeah.
Another movie where
Mhm.
a person gets a dog, the dog destroys house. What do we do with it?
There's a rich kid.
There's a rich
involved
kid.
in the schemes.
Yes. This movie is way better, in my opinion. Oh, I guess I should say way more enjoyable
Yes, way
than
more enjoyable than
Hounded
Hounded.
is. This movie's a good time, and this movie I think really benefits from I guess I would say the 3 leads of this movie:
Mhm.
Kyle Massey, Mitchell Musso, and Kay Panabaker. Really great together. Kids, hijinks, having fun. The hijinks are hard. They're going hard on hijinks in this movie. For better or worse, usually worse, but it's not a movie I'm going to forget anytime soon. And so that's probably going to help it be higher than it deserves on my list, just because I had fun. I'm not going to forget about it. Is it good? Lord, no. It's actually quite bad, but I had a great time watching it. And so, yeah, what a time. What a time. Life is rough. Dan?
Yeah. So I hated this movie. I hear everything that both of you have said. And for me, in watching these movies, I am here for hijinks. And I'm also here for a complete nonsensical farce. I am not here for hijinks that serve a plot that doesn't make sense. So like if you have the dumbest reason for people to do things, as long as it actually serves the plot in a way that I find believable, then please take full license to be so stupid and silly. I will enjoy that immensely. I'm here for that type of movie. The more we talked about this movie, the angrier I got. Like it just shouldn't exist. It shouldn't exist. And if it shouldn't exist and it does, then make it so just screwball crazy that it doesn't have to follow any logic.
Man, but Preston's dead.
The movie asks you to follow, to believe in a logic that it does not uphold. And that is like the cardinal sin for me in movies in general.
Yeah, in all fairness to you, you were out 1 minute into this movie when we had a litter of 5 black Labradors and 1 golden, and all of the black puppies were adopted first.
Which, do any research on how a color of a dog shows you how long they stay in a shelter, and that's just not what would happen.
So
I love dogs.
From that moment on, this movie made no sense. There was no logic.
I love the message of rescue dogs, but if you're going to ask me to uphold logic in a world you've built and then not use it, I hate your movie. I don't care if it's for 5-year-olds or 50-year-olds or 100-year-olds. I don't care. Like Hounded, to me, not a good movie. This movie, not a good movie. This movie, probably a little more enjoyable than Hounded. I would agree with that. But Hounded, shorter, Taj Mowry, Craig Kirkwood, I believe, Shia LaBeouf is the bad guy.
Shia LaBeouf is the bad guy.
I would argue an upgrade on all 3 fronts. I would argue an upgrade on all 3 fronts from an acting standpoint. The logic of that movie makes sense. Rich people wanting their dog back. That movie, like I really struggled with this. They're both terrible movies. They're both really bad movies. But I would just wholeheartedly disagree. If this movie was 70 minutes or something, I could have been like, okay, well, it's like Stuck in the Suburbs. Mm-hmm. That movie gets a little bit of a pass for me because it's so short and so very specifically bonkers that I'm like,
and Brenda Song.
Yeah. In this world where Taron Killam is a pop star, like I've for some reason bought this in a way that I shouldn't buy it. And it was an hour of my time. This feels really long. It doesn't make any sense. The parents are none of it. Every time they just up the ante, I wasn't like, oh, they're going to make it even crazier. I was like, I never bought it. I never bought it from the opening scene. So I did not have a good time, would not watch again, did not enjoy it. But I do see how you got to where you got.
Aaron, can we just talk about how we're living in the Brenda Song-a-sance and
Brenda Song-a-sance?
When I was at the grocery store, and I saw it after I checked out, which is the only reason I didn't get it. But I went to the grocery store to get the ingredients for Delish, not bread flour.
Not the flour, yep.
Can you imagine? I have 4 types of flour, and not one of them is bread flour.
Yep. I couldn't believe that.
Not the most amount of flour I've ever had in my house.
I would have only been able to list self-rising, all-purpose, and bread. I would not have been able to list another one after
There's
that.
also cake flour.
Okay.
I have almond flour.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
And coconut flour.
Yeah.
I have like specialty. Yeah.
Depending.
But when I left the checkout, there's like at Hot Publix,
right?
There's like the wall of magazines,
which
I hate that they're after the checkout.
Yeah, they have a lot of stuff you can buy after you've already paid.
They don't.
Weird.
It's too small of a store. That's why I don't go there often.
Yeah.
It's too cramped.
But
I think all the time about how you don't go there. You say because of the parking lot.
There's a parking lot. It's all cramped.
And the thing is that it is 100% a better parking lot than Pleasantburg Publix or Harris Teeter.
It's definitely better. Harris Teeter's the worst parking lot
in the
all
world.
Time. It's not better than Pleasantburg. I can always get a great spot in Pleasantburg.
Nobody knows how to turn in there.
It's fine.
It's a weird angle.
Never closed.
Sorry, go ahead. Magazines by the thing.
And Brenda Song was on a cover.
Brenda and Macaulay
Heck
together.
Wow.
And I was like, should I get this for Bran? And I really thought about
Brenda's
it.
everywhere. Brenda's everywhere these days.
But again, I had already checked out. All my stuff was bagged up. And just a little fun thing.
Was it the Cosmo cover or a different cover?
I'm trying to
Was it
find.
a different magazine?
I'm trying to find the cover.
Sorry.
So I can
We'll
show
save
you.
it for the
Decon Daily Minute is
Decon-
Yeah,
not
it was
right
this
now.
one. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
the
Cosmo.
Cosmo, yeah. Obviously.
And we're dealing with this fun thing in Greenville where not quite in Greenville City, but outside the city, we have some really fun wildfires going on. And I had been outside for a bit and we're getting a lot of that smoke. So I was already struggling to breathe. And my brain was like, you've checked out. And it was like, Brenda Song, Macaulay Culkin, I have to go home. And that's...
Fair.
So I thought of you, but also now that I'm realizing it was Cosmo, I don't know.
You buying Bran a Cosmo would have been the highlight of my, I don't know, decade. I thought of you when I saw Cosmo. Here's a magazine.
And that's how much I was paying attention to the magazine. Was I didn't even know what Bran. I was like, oh, I know those two people. And
I should buy a Cosmo magazine for Bram.
I get it. Let's get to our list. Where's this movie going to land? Aaron?
This movie is not going to premiere in my top 10.
What?
I know, so weird.
What?
I thought about it a lot, and if I'm basing it on like how much the plot makes sense, it should be at the bottom of my list. But my list is not like Dan's, and my list.
Well,
is
this
on
episode's so
vibes.
long, but it doesn't get a clue doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But it all doesn't make sense together
So
in
I
one
ranked-
interlocking world.
I ranked this movie based on vibes, where there's movies that make a little bit more sense, but I think are more problematic.
Yeah.
So like this movie is premiering ahead of Pixel Perfect because I think that movie.
Oh no!
Get
No
outta
way!
here.
No
Get
way!
outta
You lost your mind.
That's where Dan draws the line.
I know.
No.
At the perfect film that is Pixel Perfect.
No, I was just like, growing up, I loved the idea of Pixel Perfect. Watching it back now, I was just like, this movie, and this could just be like
perfect
me
film.
as a girl. Like I just felt icky watching Raviv Ullman make fake women. So anyway, I had this movie premiering at 34, just behind Up, Up and Away, and ahead of Rip Girls. So
Any changes
What's
in
the
top
number?
10?
What's the number?
34.
Sorry.
34.
Okay.
there might be an accidental change in my top
We
10,
got an accidental
and I
change?
will have to go back and listen to last week's
What do you
episode.
mean?
So, like sometimes when you're scrolling, because when you add the movie, it goes to the bottom.
Yeah.
So sometimes when I'm scrolling, if
Oh,
I
it's
hit
the-
it just
yeah.
right, it like switches. And so Johnny Tsunami and Smart House might be switched. I can't remember.
I think you had Johnny Tsunami at 4 ahead of Smart
That
House.
I do
think
too.
that's right.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, you
at
did.
one point, Smart House was 4, and I was like, I don't think that's right. And I put Johnny Tsunami at 4, and I just wasn't sure. So, but it feels right now. So I guess I did change it if it wasn't. Anyway, top 10, 10 Scream Team, 9 Halloween Town, 8 Get a Clue, 7 Eddie's $1 Million Cook-Off,
Yeah.
6 Phantom of the Megaplex, 5 Smart House, 4 Johnny Tsunami. Yeah, that feels right.
That feels right.
3 Right on Track, 2 Cadet
Right
Kelly,
on.
and 1 Motocross.
Can I tell you something? Not about that list in particular, but I was hanging out with a buddy of mine who's 36 last week, and he was talking about DComs, and Smart House was also the first one he mentioned. That is my biggest gap, I can't believe, I get why you liked it as a kid, but everyone loves Smart House as an adult. I don't understand it.
Smart House.
Again, yeah, we don't need to keep beating dead horses,
Yeah.
but
I mean, it's 14 on my list. It's not like
Smart.
I hate it.
it's Smart House. I have Life is Rough in at 30.
30. Oh my God.
It's right above.
That's like I'm
I feel better.
halfway.
I feel better.
Yeah, it's right above. I said it was going to be higher. I was honestly surprised at how low it was. I have it right above The Other Me, which I have at 31, and I have it right below Genius at 29.
You lost your mind.
You like this more than Genius?
I like no. I was talking about The Other Me. Sorry.
I originally
I
had
have both Other Me and Genius way higher than this movie.
yeah. I originally had Life is Rough just behind Genius, so
Okay.
it would have come in at like 40
Yeah,
or 39.
yeah.
I have Genius and Other Me in top 20.
No.
They're
It's be-
17 and 18.
It's because of his dance on the lunchroom table.
It's actually
that is
in spite of that, but it is not like
Did
most
you
of
see,
those movies
Did you see
are.
Decom Daily Minute? Did you see?
Did he redid it?
He redid it.
Yeah.
I did see that.
Here's my top 10. Luck of the Irish at 10. Phantom at 9. Full Court Miracle at 8. Smart House at 7. Eddie's $1 Million Cook-Off at 6.
What did Eddie do?
I think I said he cooked.
Did you
off.
say he cocked off? I don't think you can say that. I know it's PG-13 Bramble Jam show, but
Cadet Kelly 5. Get a Clue at 4. Motocross at 3. Johnny Tsunami at 2. And the greatest movie of our time and any time.
of our time,
Break.
Our time.
famous world. So I had if you heard Erin's overtime and heard mine, you would think that she had it at 15 and I had it at 55. She had it at 34. I have it at 39.
That's almost where mine was at 39.
39.
I moved it.
I have Hounded at 38. Hounded is one spot ahead, one spot behind Halloween Town 2, Calabar's Revenge. That is where this movie ended up. I do have a change in my top 10. I have Cadet Kelly all the way up at 2 now.
Woo!
It is consistently a movie.
Was it the Hillary Duff music we
No,
listened to
that in
yesterday?
fact, I should move it back down.
Why not?
She's not a good singer.
Take a crazy
And
Why
dance.
not?
Why is she not a good singer?
Why not?
Do a crazy dance.
Got it. Got it. But Cadet Kelly is legitimately a ton of fun, and I would borderline watch that again. 10,
The scene where
Halloween
she's
Town.
crying.
9, Full Court Miracle. 8, Scream Team. 7, Get a Clue. 6, Eddie's Cock Off. 5, Phantom of the Megaplex. 4, Mom's Got a Date with a Vampire. 3, Johnny Tsunami. 2, Cadet Kelly. Number 1, best decom by a mile, Motocross.
Gives a totally different meaning to that purple slime that he's sending off to people.
Good God.
We can't air this
We
now.
can't do that.
Next week's going to be a shorter episode, but we're talking about Pride Family movie. Proud Family movie.
The Pride family.
It's the Pride Family. It's Pride Month. We'll be back. Until then,
Decom
keep
it up
decoming
all day. Decom Descendants is a Bramble Jam podcast produced by Brandon Gray in the Bramble Jam Podcast Network studios in Greenville, South Carolina. Follow us on the socials at Decom Descendants. Follow us on the web, decompodcast.com, to watch these movies live and to support the podcast. You can go to BrambleJamPlus.com. You get a bunch of free goodies over there. Not free, they cost money.
but they're free once you bought them.